Cool. Okay, so hi, I'm going to talk about the IALab today. Okay, cool. So, let's see. What is DSU IALab? So DSU IALab, or Information Assurance Lab, is a really big virtualization cluster that's hosted in the Science Center here on campus. It's valued at over $1 million, which is pretty cool, and has some kind of insane specs. 2.5 terahertz of CPU availability, 17 terabytes of RAM. That's like a lot, like a lot. Big specs. This morning when I was talking to Kyle and asking him about it, this is the usage specs. So at a non-peak time this morning, it was using 120 gigahertz CPU and just over 2 terabytes of RAM. So that's like pretty crazy. Yeah, big specs. So some of the history for it. So it used to just be one small virtualization server, and then Kyle Cronin built it up to what it is today. He added more hardware to it and got it used for more labs, and then the school started sponsoring it. In May of 2017, Eric Holm was hired to be a full-time administrator for it. So yeah, we have like a full-time dude that's job is to manage those servers, make sure they don't die. Pretty cool. So who uses the IALab? Well, it's free to use for DSU students. It's included in, I think, your computing fee or something like that, and also it's included in some of the class fees. And it's also used by some other universities and South Dakota K-12 schools for classes. So there's some universities that use VMs in the IALab for their computer science classes, and also I think a few high schools in South Dakota. It's occasionally used by DoD, DHS, and other military branches for training, which I think is really cool. And it's also used for clubs like DefSec and OffSec for our mock competitions and just for a general test environment. We have also hosted competitions like MITRE's CTF in the IALab. And we also have a repo.ialab.dsu.edu, which is just another Linux mirror. And that repo has quite a bit of traffic, over a terabyte of traffic per day, with about 500 terabytes of traffic so far this year. So that's kind of crazy. Yeah, really big. Great resource that we have here on campus. So, yeah, that was the intro. So, demo. How do you get to it? So, if you go to h5.defsec.club, you come right here to this. Or if you go to ialab.dsu.edu, you go to this interface right here, and DefSec was added today to the bottom of that, so that's pretty cool. We now have a link straight from the interface. So the login is your credentials, so mine's galen.shoop and my password. It was disabled until like an hour ago, so. Okay, well, cool. So I have even more VApps because I can see everyone's VApps. So 5 pages. Yeah, lots of VApps. All right. So VApp view, you can see the VApps. Pretty cool. Boom. Nope, not there. Boom. Haha, VApp view. Yes. So in the VApps, each VApp, so if we go to test team, this is our test environment for HeatWave. Has all our, it's basically just another team added so that we can test stuff while the competition's running, so we don't break stuff. So your spooky HeatWave VApp, if you're on a team, should look something like this, have a bunch of stuff. I like the network diagram view because it kind of shows like visual representation of how everything's laid out, what networks it's connected to. So on each one of these VMs, we have some bunch of different options we can do. So one of them is, I mean, of course we can like power on, power off, all that stuff. But one of them is create snapshots. So snapshots are pretty cool because they create basically like a save point, checkpoint. So for example, if we go on this GUI base here, and I'm going to be mean to GUI base today because it's a nice light VM, so you can clone it over pretty quickly. So if we open up the web console for that, So yeah, close all tabs. So this is just GUI base, standard from the catalog. But snapshots are nice because let's say take a snapshot right now. So create snapshot. You probably won't need to do this. This, if VMware Tools is installed, will like save stuff before you snapshot it. But I'd say snapshot the memory if you're making a snapshot and the machine's running. So that made a snapshot, basically a saved version. And now, say some hacker got on here, they got root, they were being mean, they're like, haha, let's rm-rf, no, press. Haha, I can spell. Yeah, yikes, they're deleting everything. Ah, oh no, everything's getting deleted. Box is stopping to work. No, everything's gonna die. Yeah. Oh yeah, right. You like, yeah, kind of broken. Can't open Firefox anymore, it just doesn't work. Yeah, so snapshots are nice because then you can just go here and assuming that I actually made my snapshot correct, which this would be a great time to figure out that I did not do that correctly. It does take a few seconds because it has to like copy the RAM back into memory. But there we go. Restored and launch web console. Maybe. Launch web console. Okay. Sometimes the GUI breaks for me. I don't know why. There we go. Web console. Look at that. Right back before I deleted everything. Easy. Reverted. Yeah, no damage. Yeah, so that's a nice thing. If you were like making a malware test lab, you might want to snapshot it right before you run your malware so you can be like, oh, that was a bad idea. Let's undo that. Yeah, so there's some other options you can do. If you're in VApp view, then you can like do different things to your VApps. If I sort by my VApps, so let's see, Galen's nice VMs that are nice and like me. I like this one. So you can like power it on, delete it, create snapshots, change owner, tons of fun stuff. So some common things, cloning a VApp from the catalog. So if you go up here and go to libraries, then there's a bunch of VApp templates, used to just be called VApps, in the catalog. So a bunch of different catalogs we have here available. So we have like a DefSec catalog, DefSec lessons, and then some other shared ones. So if we wanted to like clone a certain lesson, so maybe we wanted to, I don't know, clone DL201, then just from here, you check it, click create new VApp, have some settings, so my VApp. And then you can basically just like click next through all of these, choose default settings, finish. What did I do? Oh. That's funny. Okay, so you can't name it my VApp because that name's already taken. Cool, so Galen shoot my VApp. There we go. So that'll clone. It does take a little bit, like 5 minutes less. Normally it takes only a few minutes, but sometimes it takes longer depending on how the IALab's feeling that day. Yeah. So we can see right here, it's powered off and it's loading. And in the task list right here, you can say it says like creating application. It's basically loading it in. So go through all those, go through all of those, get this. Eventually, yep, there we go. So now it says stopped. So if we go to details on that, here's that new, oh yeah, this was only one of them. This was Shane's. Haha. So my VApp now has this hacked computer 2 in it from the catalog. There's a network setup. It's connected just straight into vCloud Internet. Let's see, what else can you do? Tons of different options on the VMs. So you can power it on insert media if you want to. I don't know why. You can copy it to different things, delete it. So I'm going to delete that one. I don't want that hacked computer anymore. So yeah, what if we wanted to make a new VApp? So right here, there's new VApp. Create a new VApp. So Galen's cool VApp. And then you can add different machines to it. So maybe we wanted, let's see, maybe a GUI base. So right here, you can click from template instead of new, and you can just copy one in from one of the catalogs. So if we want to do GUI base, search for GUI, then right here, this is the official one from the GUI base VMs VApp. You could also copy it in from a different VApp if you wanted. So if you, for example, wanted just one of those hacked boxes from Shane's DO201 or something like that, but I want just GUI. So if you search GUI, then check GUI base, and that's not a valid name. It needs a dash. There we go. Then create that. So now we have a VApp with one thing in it. That will take a sec. Where is that? Right here. Galen's cool VApp. So now that we have our VApp, we should add some network connections to it. So if you want your VMs to actually have internet, be able to reach out, download new software, download whatever you need for your test environment. So you go over here to the network tab, new network, and then you can either add a new network. So a new VApp network is just going to be inside your VApp, only internally, like basically an Ethernet cable inside. Or an org network is one of the DefSec org networks. So vcloud_internet is going to be the one you want to use. We're actually soon going to be changing that to one of these other networks, but have not finished setting those up yet because those are new today. So that's fun. But if we add this new network, then go back over to our box that we want to change, click on the name of the box, brings up tons of options for it. You can go into the hardware category, and under next network interface controllers, you can like connect this to that network, vCloud Internet. You always want to set IP mode to DHCP, otherwise it's not going to work right. I don't understand exactly how the static thing works. It just breaks stuff though. It's for like a bigger environment where you have a bunch of VMs and they're being controlled. Like you don't want to use them as like normal Linux boxes. You want to use them as like weird, fancy, big company stuff. I don't really understand how it works. It only works in DHCP. DHCP means that the IALab is not going to try to manage that network. It's going to allow the boxes to manage it. Static means that the IALab tries to manage that network. So save that. And it's kind of funny. This takes longer than building the VApp. I don't know why, but kind of funny. Yeah, so now it's powered off. So we can power it on. Right there. Now it's powering on. Whoa, fancy. Kind of complicated. It does feel like it takes a while, but also have to remember like these are computers, virtual computers. So like when you're making a snapshot, it might take a few minutes, but it's also copying like the entire hard drive and everything. I mean, not exactly, but effectively. So we can launch Web Console. So there's two different ways to actually control it. Web Console and VMRC. VMRC is like an actual program you download on your computer client. It's kind of nice because it allows you to do different keyboard shortcuts. So like in our web browser, maybe, Jeopardy noises, there we go. So in our web browser, if I had like some tab open to google.com, which is probably not, oh no, yeah, okay, didn't work. So if we have a bunch of tabs open and then I control W, then it like passes it straight through to the VM and actually closes the tabs. If you have it open in the web console and you're like, oh, I have all these new tabs and I want to close them, and you control W, it's going to close your session. So that's kind of awkward. I've done that way too much. So VMRC allows you to just get a few more of the keybinds to pass through. Kind of nice. So yeah, other than that, it's just your normal computer. Cloud, yeah. Fun. I think that's it. Any questions in particular? No? Okay. Cool. Well, that's all I have today. So have a nice day. See you next week.
Bye, online people.
Bye, online people.